Section 13.3, probability and odds. When talking about probability and odds, we're talking about successes and failures and making a ratio between the two. If you look at the top right corner of the screen, you'll see the formula for probability. Probability is the number of successes divided by the number of successes and the number of failures, or as I like to say, the total number. And when you're doing a probability, and we have three colored circles at the top of the page, you always write it with the parentheses of what you're trying to determine the probability of. For example, the first example we have, probability P yellow. We're trying to determine what would the probability be if we had these three colored balls in a bag pulling out a yellow ball. And so in order to calculate this, we first need to determine how many successes do we have of the color yellow. So that would be a 5. So 5 would be the success rate. And then how many do we have total? So we have 5 successes, just to repeat. And then the number of failures would be the number of blue balls and the number of white. So that would be 10. So that would give us a 5 out of 15, and then we were going to reduce that to 1 over 3. So the probability of pulling out a yellow ball out of a bag of 15 circles, if you will, or balls, would be 1/3. Now, looking at the not white, that's when you're thinking about in terms of failure. And the same thing applies. It's the total number of failures over the total number. And so when we're doing the second one for the probability of pulling out a not white ball, we have to determine what would the number of failures be. That would be the not white. So that would be the yellow and the blue. So that's 6 plus 5. So we have an 11 of not white. And then the total number would be 11 plus the 4 for the white. Notice that didn't change between the two problems. We still have 15 on the bottom. So this would be 11 out of 15. So that would be the probability of pulling out a ball that is not white. Now also with this we have what we call odds, and odds vary slightly because you have, instead of having the total number at the bottom, you now have the failures at the bottom only. So if we're talking about the odds, let's say what are the odds of pulling out a blue ball? We have the number of successes divided by the number of failures. And so the number of successes would be the number of blue balls, so that would be 6. Number of failures would be the yellow plus the white, that would be 9. So 6 out of 9, and we reduce to 2 over 3. So the odds of pulling out a blue ball, we'll write blue there, are 2 to 3. And make sure you, anytime you're talking about odds, you always say it like this, 2 to 3. So whatever is in the numerator goes first, and then add 2 in the middle. So if it's 1 to 5, 6 to 4, 2 to 3, whatever, just make sure you are pronouncing that the appropriate way. So remember, odds vary because it doesn't have the total number in the denominator. When you're talking about probability, probability does have the total number in the denominator.